Hey guys, this is Andre with another episode of Deep Dive, the new series where we bring you a bit more of insight of a couple of games that we had in Spring Split.
Today we're doing the deep dive into the painful EG series in Houston.
So you guys can enjoy us getting absolutely shit on.
It's a rough one.
Enjoy the ride. Going into game one against EG, a lot of the preparation in terms of draft is try to remove as many of their strengths as you can and put them into positions where they will show some of their weaknesses.
Facing Danny and Vulcan during the whole split, I knew that they were having big weaknesses in the lane.
Yeah, we've faced EG a lot this year already, so it's very clear how EG wants to play as a team. It's kind of just have Danny farm for late game and play through topside early game.
And a lot of that was Zeri and it was Jinx. We didn't want to feel like we were trapped into banning both, so we wanted to make at least a strategy against one of them. And we decided we wanted to have a strategy ready for Jinx.
We picked Zaya Renata because we were confident to get a higher potential lead and having a great champion for the later Teamfight 2.
Jinx Tamkins really doesn't like playing against range, so it's more about the Zaya Corki together and how hard it is for Jinx to actually deal damage when you come to team fights, because both of them will start outranging you.
There was a game plan to get early pressure through bot lane.
And that strategy is what you're gonna see us play in game one.
I was a bit surprised on how this lane went in the moment, because this matchup is not that easy to just take all their potion out, because Tamkench has insane regen and Jinx is not that easy to kill, but they slowly lose all their potions, and on the turret Danny gets hit by every skill shot and dies.
Oh!
In the moment I was like, oh my god, we did it, it's huge.
Nice, good job. Nice!
When we were looking at this, it's preparation for Third Dragon. Watching this back is a little bit interesting because if you look at items and the current state of the game, we were in a losing position, but this is kind of how we wanted to play our comp. Shen is on the side, and it's on us to find poke advantage before the fight starts. And on the other hand, EG is also doing a good job. You can see Jojo is trying to find a flank before the fight starts, because they need to find ways to get onto either Bjerg or Hans before we can find our poke.
Also with corejj, if you have a package, it's very, very strong around objectives. So if you can kind of force the enemy to have to fight you when you pick up package, that's really, really good.
When Jojo has a good position, they turn off the lights with Nocturne. And actually this position should be very, very good for EG. But right now you're gonna see the game-changing package. And that's kind of what breaks it, because the three people on the left side can't really follow up on the engage.
It just feels like if they can't get through the first engage, well, Nocturne ulti, we're just gonna win with our champions. It's very hard for them.
It's a very, very good play by Bjerg and good disengage by Core.
Team Liquid, their scaling is going through the roof now.
So we got to pick on impact, and that's why we're starting Baron. I don't remember who was calling we have to turn, but that's why I'm in the flank position already.
Yeah, wait for them to come in. Wait for them to come in.
Sometimes it feels unnatural for the junglers not being in the pit, but when you're very clear about your communication that you're no matter what we're turning, then I have the main engaged, so it makes sense for me to be in the flank.
And here's Shen to show up as well. Jin to flash the safety.
I slow him.
Watch me. Okay.
We get another pick on Jinx, and we also got TK Sums. At this point, it should be very easy for us to keep forcing the Baron.
Santorin's one hit from dead, but bwipo takes it well enough. The rocket, is it gonna land?
Some Fiesta team fight, but it ended up us not dying. And this moment is the one that I remember the most in that series. But
we get a solid 3 for 0, and the only last thing we have to keep in mind is Jinx is slowly gonna move, but we also know that we can kill it pretty quickly.
I felt really comfortable to just take this Baron and go out.
But even if he does arrive, he shouldn't really be able to do anything, because we're Shen W, we have Renata W, we have corejj stopwatch engage.
He's gonna shoot! You're kidding me! Santorin fights early!
I thought I had a good smite because, you know, when you're in a high pressure situation and when everyone has 3 items in the game, let's say corejj hits it once, Sai hits it once, and Jinx hit it once, and let's say Jinx crits for like, you know, 500-600. Suddenly, like, if I don't smite pretty much frame perfect, like, they'll get it without me smiting at all. So I saw 8 something, you know, as a jungler, like, you know, the smite key, the second you see 8, 7, 6, like anything like that, you want to smite as soon as possible in these kind of situations.
She popped the passive and then it becomes really hard to poke her or something, and she did something amazing.
The king of Pentakill! Oh my god, you gotta be kidding me! What was that?
She did the Danny. Danny did the Danny.
I hope Riot will start thinking about these kind of things because I saw even, you know, for the mobile game they already fixed this, so hopefully they'll also prioritize their, you know, computer game.
In hindsight, our game 1 draft was really good, and if we opted into a second time, it's probably not a bad idea.
Especially when we go back and look at the fight we had for Third Dragon when we were very much in a losing position, but we managed to win the fight anyway. I was very happy with game 1 draft and I wanted to run it back but tweak a little bit on 4-5.
During our talk as well out off stage, I remember bwipo telling that it felt really hard for him to play against TF and Nocturne, that it would limit how much he could get out of his champion in the game.
So we decided that we wanted to take the TF away in the first 2.
But what really shifts this draft is the Diana Yasuo, and the honest answer is just none of us ever thought that that would be their answer into TF.
We were very surprised about the Diana Yasuo in the moment, and as soon as they locked that in, I think it was pretty clear for us that the draft phase, at least in theory, is lost. That sometimes happens, and then you gotta throw in a Hail Mary.
And so Zyra is something that offers us that side of pressure when we already had a GP. On hindsight is maybe better to just pick our AD carry on the first 3, and then we would have GP, Aatrox, Gwen, and a bunch of other stuff that we can pick on 4-5 against Thorn. But then Diana Yasuo is just a really good pick into our champions.
Fight. We can kill them. Yeah.
When basically our bot lane forces enemy bot lane to base and both sums at level 1, and then core even goes into the bush close to golems and cancels their base again, we should just be putting ourselves in a position where everyone would have a mindset to playing with the knowledge that Diana has to cover bot and then gaining some better timers for us to be bot when they can't be. We failed to do that, and we couldn't really be coordinated enough for those action timers to be common for everyone on the map, even when we have 2 globals. I also remember that our first GP ulti, there was a bit of miscommunication.
We're fighting.
Okay, I'm in GP ulti.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
careful here. Sorry.
We were a bit impatient because we are looking for this opportunity for so long, but it feels like it's never really coming naturally, so we forced a bit too hard when Yasuo is able to move, and then on the choke point with against the Diana Yasuo, things go a bit south.
Can you leave? Yes, they use splash.
Our bot lane did hardcore smurf, it just wasn't enough because we didn't play well enough as a team, but from the lead that Hans and Call got us, I do believe that this should have been, you know, a win for us.
This was actually a critical point in the game where we weren't really on the same page. 4 members of the team are playing as if our Nash play is already over and now we just want to reset and set up the map. But bwipo wants to push an extra wave, and that was his overextend and gets caught.
If they keep
I need help.
Look Dyna.
And in comms we are also calling to help him instead of just letting him die, which means that we are gonna come into a fight where they are coming fresh out of base and they have basically the initiative, and they will be able to fight on this type of choke points, which are not necessarily beneficial for us. At the start of this fight, GP still doesn't have flash, Ashe doesn't have flash, Core doesn't have exhaust, which are key tools in order for us to be able to fight their team comp, and then it just turned into this disaster.
Maybe if the funnel in is good. I have Sonja as well. I'm going here.
Yeah.
Big barrel.
Yeah.
Yasuo. Big barrel again. Hit Yasuo. Okay, hitting Yasuo.
No.
Tight.
It was not a great moment.
But since the comp is with the biggest advantage and with more of a burden of execution on our side, that means that we have to be in a position where we are using our summoners to bait skills from the opponent and after baiting those skills to find ways to win a fight when they didn't have those skills. But obviously it's much easier at this point in the game for them to play the game than us.
I was prepared that it wasn't that easy. I tried to bait the skill shot in, but I wasn't fast enough.
Our mindset going into game 3 was change everything up because we were playing range support, just trying to smash the bot lane. But in reality, I think our bot lane could smash the bot lane with whatever champion they had to play. Like, it doesn't matter what they're playing, like they'll probably still smash bot lane. So like, we just want to pick team fighting, engaging, and have core and some kind of playmaking because core is very good at finding the right times to go in.
That's why we had high priority on Nautilus. On 4-5, we wanted to have mid jungle that could contest theirs. So Silas Lee was the best option we could have. And then you can argue whether or not we should pick Jinx over Aphelios.
Well, the lane matchup is a bit better for Aphelios. Aphelios has always been great against Ezreal. We've had a lot of comfort with Jinx, so I was a bit 50-50, but having Aphelios and Nautilus Ornn feels pretty nice.
Honestly, I felt like our draft was definitely winning. So going into the game, I felt really confident. So going into like trading dragon for a kill, I think you'd almost on any single composition you'd prefer the kill and denying CS and gold than getting the dragon, because the dragon just inherently doesn't do anything by itself. So as long as you feel confident going into second, third, or even fourth dragon fight, as long as you feel like at that point we will be stronger, then it's not a big issue. And I was really happy with the core roaming top here because we punished them really hard, like level 2 and 3. Both their top and mid had no flash. The mid lane had to TP back, and if we didn't punish them during that sequence, like that 5 minutes of them having no sums, then it was a huge failure on our part.
It's top that's under attack. Knockup comes into the wall. The entire squad is here.
I remember this game as well. Lucas played really well the early phases of the game.
I'm holding this zone.
Oh, I can TP in 3 seconds.
They're looking you.
Can you guys come forward? I don't know. I'm not fine. I'm not fine.
So going into this team fight, Bjerg got picked off, which was pretty scary. But luckily, you know, this is a very classic thing with when you're playing a team game is there's a fight happening, everyone just collapse, just run at, like just try to help as much as you can. So EG kind of like walked into a choke and we managed to like counter engage on them, and then suddenly it becomes a good fight.
No.
Keep going left.
Go trundle. And they're gonna find the kick back in the burn down.
All these 3 games were in our hands in the early mid. Yeah, I think I had a nice Aphelios game in the early mid game until it fell apart.
I'm walking here.
Yeah, what's up?
If Aatrox starts here, we should
Yeah.
look for him, okay?
Yeah.
We feel like we're in the driving seat now and we should be able to win any fight. I'd say both me and Bjerg could have played mechanically better in the 2v2 against Aatrox and TF. The biggest thing is probably we didn't have anti-healing. So, you know, even though both me and Bjerg are very strong in the game and we have more items than Aatrox has anti-heal and we don't. So we actually can't even kill him. You know, in hindsight, if we had every single ability, we would still have killed him and it would have been a good play. But we failed to execute, and I looked back at this clip many times because it's kind of like, is it even worth going for the Aatrox knowing we have to land every single ability to kill him? Or is it better to just play the straight up 5v5 where we feel like we're already stronger and it should be very easy to team fight? It's very hard to like figure out during the game because, you know, we see a pick, we're gonna go for it because we feel very strong. In hindsight, if we just want to make sure we win this dragon fight, we should probably stay as a team, because also remember this is when Hans is calling he's really strong and he feels like he can carry any fight. But this one really hurts because this is kind of like the game deciding play. Just throwing away the game like that, this is something that, you know, it's gonna sting for a very long time, because I also feel like if we won this game going into game 4, like we finally had the momentum back and then, you know, we'd feel really comfortable.
And evil geniuses will just slaughter everyone!
As a professional player, you'd never want to have this feeling and you'll do anything you can to make sure it doesn't happen again. So I know my teammates have the same mindset and that's why I feel really comfortable going into summer.
Thank you for watching, guys, and if you like it, make sure to put a like and subscribe.
You will get more of this.
You can even comment that Hansama is the best. See you next time.